Okay, 137,
Sivakami.
Okay, sorry. Perfect. Okay, you're on for starting now 3 minutes. Go ahead.
Okay, hello. My name is Sivakami Malvaganam, and I'm 17 years old.
My name is Katerina Mir, and I'm 18 years old.
And we are here on behalf of some of the youth of the Crescent-Town community, and more specifically those involved with the Neighborhood Youth Alliance. As a network of youth, youth workers, and community members, we at the NYA have benefited from the social development and investment program funding provided by the City of Toronto. The currently proposed budget cuts would severely jeopardize the support and services that the NYA provides. We have both greatly benefited from this city funding, and we respectfully ask you to reconsider cutting this program. We are asking this of you because the NYA has become a vital vessel for the youth voice and stage for youth expression and achievement in the Crescent-Town community. It works in youth engagement so that youth are involved, educated, and have decision-making power. It advocates for youth needs such as housing, employment, sexual health, services, safe neighborhood spaces, and programs. And it works to reduce barriers such as enrollment fees, open hours for facilities, as well as offering childcare, staff, TTC, and food support. In terms of personal experiences, it is through the NYA that Katerina and I were able to participate in the Be That Role Model program for the past 2 years. In Be That Role Model, we, along with other youth of the community, were trained and given the opportunity to provide services and design programs through the arts and athletics for other youth. Needless to say, it is an opportunity we have both learned a lot from. Firstly, and probably most obviously, the NYA and its programs have given youth in our community something positive to do. As with many of the other communities in Toronto, youth in our area often have difficulty fulfilling their full potentials out of the lack of safe space to go to, and NYA has offered us that. This space has also contributed to a greater and stronger sense of community in Crescent-Town. We have both helped organize several youth events, our last conference having around 200 youth participants, as well as their parents, siblings, and social workers. These opportunities are for everyone to come together and have not always existed in Crescent-Town. However, they have helped form strong friendships, contributing to a more tight-knit community and larger feeling of security in our home neighborhood. No.
Your investment in youth has allowed us to have access to resources and experiences we did not have before. Please keep in mind that having well-informed, educated, and socially aware youth is a very valuable source of wealth to our city. Future youth deserve to have the same opportunity that we did. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Perfect. No question, thank you. There's no question, thank you very much. Pat, Leothen? Pat, sorry, Pat, okay.
No, Mr. Mayor, I
have not seen a question, sorry.
I know I did,
Okay.
I had my hand up.
Sorry.
I did, I absolutely did. Very early on. I did. These are young women from I had my hand
I will give
up.
you the benefit of the doubt, okay?
Thank you.
One. That's just one.
And I just want to say how proud I am that these young women
Give her
have
one.
stayed here so late, and I know their mothers are worried that they're out here so late. I'm just thrilled that you've come here from Crescent-Town, which is in my ward and is a priority neighborhood, and I know that the funding that we've provided has created a youth network, you said, that has not always existed. It has never existed. Isn't that correct?
Yes.
Yeah.
In fact, isn't it the case that because of the priority neighborhoods initiatives by this city, that we have for the first time youth-driven, youth-led, youth-engaged activities in Crescent-Town?
Yes.
Yes.
And do you think it's a smart thing for the city to consider cutting this funding?
That's why we're here to defend, and so no, it's not smart.
Not at all.
It's not smart. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you. Hey, Pat, you got 3 minutes starting now, sir. Go ahead, 3 minutes.
I would just like to thank all the committee members and the councillors for allowing me to speak today. I'm here to talk about the Toronto Parking Authority. I'm a current employee of the Toronto Parking Authority, have been for 6 years, full-time attendant. So I work in a kiosk and handle your money on the way in and out. I have the extreme pleasure of dealing with about 400 or 500 different individuals on every single day, whether it be a quick little banter of 30 seconds while they're paying their fee or giving directions or just letting people know of tourist attractions in and around Toronto. The Parking Authority is a public corporation, self-sustainable public corporation that's owned by the City of Toronto. It remits $80 million, according to the KPMG report, to the City of Toronto every year, which is 43 cents on every dollar that's spent goes back into the city. When I first heard that they wanted to talk about the Toronto Parking Authority being sold and the direct comparison to Chicago, I started researching Chicago. At the time of the lease in Chicago in 2008, Chicago was generating $19 million for the city. They were using the single-space coin meters that we had about 10 or 15 years ago. When Morgan Stanley took it over, they had to revamp the whole system on top of the $1.15 billion that they purchased it for 75 years. And they revamped the system to model our system that we have here with the smart meters, with the solar panels on the top, which lead directly to a website that let people know when the tickets are running low or the tickets are broken down, which makes it more efficient to fix it. I believe that the Toronto Parking Authority is a world-class organization that every city tries to model themselves after. The comparison that they use in KPMG is Montreal, which remits $42.5 million, which is the Parking Authority is almost double. In Melbourne, it doesn't give any statistics. But now I've heard as well that I believe the City of Chicago is trying to get back the parking less than 2 years, or less than 3 years, sorry, of the 75-year lease. So I encourage everybody here not to sell the Parking Authority because as far as I'm concerned, the City Council does nothing and gets an $80 million check. Everything runs through the board, and all the people in the board and the investments, they look at the investment, the property investments, the rates, and the frontline workers like myself, we carry out the day-to-day operations which maintain this world-class service. Thank you.
Thank you, Pat. Councillor Wontam, 1 minute for questions.
Thank you very much, and I also agree with you that the Toronto Parking Authority is a profit center that the city should not sell. Having said that, are you aware that there's a board recruitment underway to replace the entire Toronto Parking Authority board right now?
No, I don't know about that. I believe I read in some of the minutes that they want to expand the board from 7 to 11, I believe, but I don't know anything about the board recruitment.
Are you aware that most recently they've decided that the Civics Appointment Committee has decided not to give any interviews to current board members?
No, I do not, no.
Okay. So therefore, if the Toronto Parking Authority is a lucrative profit center and it does provide residual incomes ongoing in perpetuity to the city, why would we want to sell that?
I have no idea why you'd want to sell it. I don't think you should.
The only thing stopping us from selling...
Thank you very much. Councillor Layton, you're next, and then Councillor Perks and Councillor Vaughan.
You know, I think my questions were answered during the deputation, but just to make it clear, because KPMG says there's a high potential for savings with the options to lease or sell off street and garage parking. But to my understanding, TPA actually gives the city a significant amount of money annually. That number would be
$80 million they give the city.
So in fact, possibly beyond the short-term benefit, that would be a loss to the city in revenue on an annual basis.
It would, if you compare it to Chicago. Chicago sold for $1.15 billion. That would take the Parking Authority 13 years to accumulate that, and they did a 75-year lease. So it wouldn't be beneficial at all.
Thank you.
Thank you. Councillor Perks, 1 minute.
Thank you. I have a different reason why I support the Toronto Parking Authority. I want to see if you agree with it. In our zoning bylaws, it says you cannot build a parking lot in a residential area unless you are the parking authority that is owned by the City of Toronto. That means that a private owner can't knock down a house and just throw in a parking lot to make money.
Yeah.
If we sell the parking authority, that either means that we never ever again get to build parking lots downtown, or that it becomes open season, because once you let one private guy do it, the law says you have to let every private guy do it. Do you think that by keeping the parking authority in public hands, we retain control of what our neighborhoods look like?
Yes, I agree.
Thank you. Councillor Vaughan, 1 minute.
What has been the impact of the privatization in Chicago on parking meter fees?
Pardon me, sorry?
Parking meter fees, what happened to them?
They almost quadrupled. Some of the rates hadn't been raised in a while. They were a quarter, then they went up to $3.50, and they said by 2013 they'll be up to $6.50 an hour, which currently in Manhattan is $2.50 an hour. So you think it's almost 2.5 times the current rate.
And while the parking revenue that has flowed to the private sector company has increased, what's happened to the revenue that's coming into the city?
It's gone.
It's gone.
Yeah.
In fact, they renegotiated, and there's no more revenue coming into the city.
Yeah, that's very true. And every time City Council, after 5 or 10 years, they could talk about the rates. But what had happened there as well is that if they affected negatively the system in any way, they had to give some of that $1.15 billion back.
Is that why Los Angeles has abandoned its privatization plan?
I believe Los Angeles and Harrisburg, Pennsylvania,
Sorry,
as well
that's
rejected
it.
it.
Councillor Mamalidi, 1 minute for questions.
Yeah, I don't want to contribute to the fear-mongering that seems to be going on from some of the socialists. Oh no, it's a socialist party down here today, so it's, you know, it's fine. But I want to talk about what KPMG has actually reported out on, and that is that there's some potential revenue to be made with the existing authority the way it is, but to expand on what they're already doing, and that is leasing out parking spots. You already do that, do you not?
That they want to lease out parking spots?
Yeah, they do.
I can tell by the report they want to sell it off and lease it, yes.
No, that's not all they said. They said that there's potential in leasing out some of the spots or even selling them off, yes. However, both those options are there, and to build on to some of the infrastructure that's already there as well to increase the amount of
Thank you very
parking
much.
spots.
Pat, thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions? Seeing none, thank you, Pat. Thank you very much.